Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to go through the Year 9 summative assessment from the November 2024. Question number 1. The human body is made of different types of cells. Draw one line from each type of cell to the organ system where the cell is found. So you need to just draw one line here. So type of cell, brain cell. The brain cell belongs to the nervous system. The red blood cell is part of the circulatory system, and the sperm cell is part of the reproductive system. Explain one way a sperm cell is adapted for its function. So explain, you need to give a reason. They're asking for one way. So how is it adapted for a function? It has a tail. Right? The reason is to help it swim, or you could say it has a lot of mitochondria. The reason is to release energy. Release energy for movement. Any one of these will give you those 2 marks. The figure below shows a cell. Oxygen molecules are shown inside and outside the cell. So you can see there's only 4 molecules of oxygen. There's a lot of oxygen molecules on the outside. Give one way you can tell that the cell in figure 4 is not a plant cell. Well, the reason it's not a plant cell is because it does not have a cell wall, and it doesn't have a nucleus as well. So it does not have a cell wall, or you could say not a nucleus, permanent vacuole. Right? It does have a nucleus. Or you could say it doesn't have a chloroplast. Which part of a cell controls the movement of substances into and out of cells? So that would be the cell membrane. What is the name of the process that moves oxygen molecules into the cell in the figure above? Here, it's by diffusion. Reason, it's going through a semi-permeable membrane or partially permeable membrane, and it's going from high concentration. So oxygen is going into the cell. That's high concentration. Outside the cell, and there's low concentration inside the cell. So oxygen molecules move from high to low concentration. Low concentration, which is inside the cell. Inside the cell. Name 2 substances that move into most cells in the body from the blood. Do not refer to oxygen in your answer. You could say water or glucose, or you could say mineral ions. Any two of them will be fine. Question number 2. A student investigated the effect of different concentrations of sugar solution on pieces of potato. This is the method used. Cut 5 pieces of potato. Record the starting mass of each piece of potato. Place each piece of potato in different concentrations of sugar solution. After 24 hours, remove the pieces of potato from the solutions. Record the final mass for each piece of potato. Calculate the change in mass for each piece of potato. What is the independent variable? Now, the independent variable is what you are changing on purpose in an experiment. That is the effect, different concentrations. So, concentration of the sugar solution is the correct answer. The table below shows the results. So you have different concentrations of sugar solutions from 0.0 to 0.5. This is called mole per dm cube. The starting mass is given in this column, and the end mass after 24 hours is given in this column. And you can see the change in mass. In the first 3, the mass has increased. Started at 7.94 and it went up to 10. Right? They're all increasing. Here, the bottom 3, the mass has decreased. Explain why the potato in 0 mole per dm cube sugar solution increased in mass. Why did it increase in mass? The only reason that it would increase in mass is if water moved into the cell. So, first point to get 1 mark, water or H2O moved into the cells. The second mark is to say, explain why. Well, we can say by osmosis. The reason is right, there is less or 0 sugar outside the cells. So water actually moved into the cell. Complete the graph below. Some of the results have been plotted for you. Plot the data from the table above. Draw a line of best fit through all the points. So they have done the points for 0.3, 0.4 and 0.5. So you need the points for 0.1 and 0.2. And we need to look for the change in mass there. So the change in mass for the first 3, 2.2, 1.15. So 2.2, 1.15, and the third one was 0.25. So 0.25. So at 0 concentration, it was 2.2. So 2 is over there, and the second box is over here. That's 2.2. And when it's 1.1, it's 1.1 and 1.2. So 1.15 is somewhere going to be there. And at 0.2 is 0.25. So that's 0.5. So halfway between there. So your line of best fit needs to be a smooth curve going through all these points. D. The mass of a piece of potato does not change when the concentration of solution inside cells equals concentration of solution outside cells. Determine the concentration of sugar solution inside the potato. So use the graph. That's when the change in mass is actually 0. That would be here. So 0.2, and that's the third box. So that's 0.23. 0.23 depends on how you've drawn the line. So for me, it's crossing at this third box. So 0.23. The table is repeated below. Calculate the percentage in change in mass for the piece of potato at 2 mole per dm cube using the equation. Give your answer into 3 significant figures. That carries a mark there. So the change in mass. So the percentage change is equal to the change in mass. What is the change in mass? That's 0.25. 0.25 divided by mass of potato at the start, which is 7.96. 7.96. Multiply that by 100. So let's bring up the calculator. Zero 0.25 divided by 7.96, and the answer, I'm going to multiply that by 100. That gives me 3.14. So that's 3.1407. Right? Because we want the answer in 3 significant figures, we can write it as 3.14. Next question 3. All substances are made up of atoms. Figure 1 represents a beryllium atom. What is the number of protons and the number of neutrons in the beryllium atom? Now, the number of protons is the ones with the positive charge. So there is 4 of them. So those are the protons. There's 4. The neutrons are found inside the nucleus. So there's these black circles. Those are the neutrons, and there's 5 of them. Figure 2 represents a beryllium atom. What is the relative charge of a beryllium atom? So beryllium is the 3rd element in the periodic table. So it has 4 protons. There's 4 protons with the positive charges. So the overall charge is plus 4 in the nucleus. There's 2 electrons. These are electrons. And electrons have a negative charge. So there's 2 of them. So 2 electrons. So overall negative charge is 2. So if you add these 2 charges up, you get plus 2. So the answer is plus 2. Figure 3 shows the arrangement of atoms in the 3 states of matter. So you have A, B, and C. Which state of matter is represented by C? C, well, this is the solid, because you have the particles closely arranged in neat order. That's the liquid, and this is the gas. C would be the gas. What is the name of the process when B changes into state A? So when B changes into A, so that's for this. So a solid changing into a liquid is called melting. E, how can state B be changed into state C? So how can you change a liquid into a gas? You would change a liquid into a gas by heating, or you could say boiling a liquid, or even evaporating. Question 4. The figure below shows a person using a zip wire to move from a tree to the ground. As the person moves down the zip wire, the block moves upwards. So as the person is moving this way, this block is actually moving up because they're tied to this. So as the person is moving, it's pulling on the string to move the block up. What happens to the gravitational potential energy of the person as the person accelerates down the zip wire? So gravitational potential energy, GPE, depends on the mass, gravitational field strength, and the height. Well, the person is actually going down, so the height is decreasing, so the gravitational potential energy decreases. What happens to the kinetic energy of the person as the person accelerates down the zip wire? Now, the kinetic energy is caused because of movement. And because they're accelerating, that means that they're speeding up. So that means kinetic energy is increasing. C, the block is 3.5 meters above the ground when the person is at the bottom of the zip wire. The mass is 2.5, gravitational field strength is 9.8. Calculate the gravitational potential energy. So you have the mass. They have given you the equation. Mass is 2.5 multiplied by the gravitational field strength is 9.8, multiplied that by the height, which is 3.4. So let's bring up the calculator again. So 2.5 multiplied by 9.8 multiplied by 3.4, and that gives me 83.3 joules. The trolley is a seat suspended from wheels which can roll along the zip wire. When the person reaches the bottom of the zip wire, the person gets off the trolley. The block falls downwards, pulling the trolley back to the top of the zip wire. The maximum speed is 4.8, mass is 2.5. Calculate the maximum kinetic energy. So, kinetic energy is 0.5 multiplied by the mass, which is 2.5, multiplied by the speed, which is 4.8, and it's a squared. So 0.5 times 2.5 times 4.8 multiplied by 4.8 again because it's a square. That's 28.8 joules. As the trolley moves, work is done against friction. What is this? What is the effect of this? Energy is destroyed. No, you can't destroy energy. Some energy is transferred to the surroundings. Yes. The total energy of the block. No, the energy doesn't increase. So it is this one. Some energy is transferred to the surroundings, usually as heat or thermal energy. The person oils the wheels of the trolley. Explain how this will affect the speed of the person down. Speed will, if you oil it, that means there's less friction. Speed will increase. For 2 marks, you have to give a reason. Since less work is done, against friction. As you can see in this question, on the question number E, they are saying as the trolley moves, work is done against friction. So if you add oil, you're going to reduce that work done against friction. Question 5. A student did an experiment to calculate her power. The diagram below shows how she obtained the measurements needed. The student weighed herself and then ran up a flight of stairs. A second student timed how long it took for her to go from the bottom to the top of the stairs. The height of the stairs was also measured. Complete the sentence. To run up the stairs, the student must do work against the force of gravity. A student did 2,240 joules of work going from the bottom of the stairs to the top of the stairs. She took 2.8 seconds to run up the staircase. Calculate the power. Power is energy divided by the time. So, energy or work done is 2,240 divided by 2.8. So, 2,240 divided by 2.8. That would be 800 watts. 800 watts. How much gravitational potential energy did the student gain in going from the bottom to the top of the staircase? So, gravitational potential energy, GPE, is the mass multiplied by the gravitational field strength multiplied by the height. The mass of the student. Let's see, have they given? Actually, you don't need to do a calculation because it's only 1 mark. The gravitational potential energy that the student gain is equal to the energy that she spent. So it would be this energy, 2,240 joules of work. Another 4 students did the same experiment. Measurements taken and the calculated values of power are given in the table below. To make a fair comparison of their powers, the student kept one variable in the experiment constant. What variable did the students keep constant? Well, they would have run up the same flight of staircase, which means the height. Right? There's no point in running different heights of staircase. That would mean that you're using different amounts of power. So you could say the variable that was kept constant is the height or number of stairs climbed. From the data in the table, a student wrote the following conclusion. The greater the weight of the person, the greater the power developed. Suggests why this conclusion may not be true for a larger number of groups. Now, when the weight in newtons is increasing, so what is happening to the power? That is increasing, yes. But if that person takes less or more time, then that's going to affect, right? So power is dependent on the energy and the time, right? The energy that you're going to use depends on the weight. So, right? So the time taken will be different for different people. So let's say here, person or student D has a weight of 725 newtons, the highest, and the time taken is 4 seconds. Well, maybe another person can actually run in half that time if they are fit. So that would actually change the power. That brings us to the end of the questions and the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.